Cardano approaches 20 cents, 50% gains in the last 6 days. In this video, I want to break down on the charts why Cardano looks like this bull run is just getting started. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit that subscribe and like on the way in. It truly does mean a lot to me as we grow this YouTube channel. Let's jump into this Cardano video. So here it is. This was December 23rd swing low, right to that swing high we just had, 56% on this chart, actually. This is the Kraken chart. And other charts, you know, give or take a little bit different in terms of gains, but that's what we're looking at, everybody. And it seems very under the radar, right? To me, it just seems like there's not much talk about that very solid move for Cardano in the last 6 days. Let's break down what's going on. I'm going to start zoomed out on the chart. We're going to break it down, the short-term targets, mid-term targets for Cardano. Real quick, here's a clip from December 22nd video. That can definitely happen in the short term. Remember, 74% to the apex of these symmetrical triangles. We often see breakout areas. That would be the end of December. We could see a huge breakout for Cardano. End of December, huge breakout for Cardano. I'd say it played out pretty well in terms of the apex of the symmetrical triangle, and you can just see it on the screen. The data does not lie. These technical analysis patterns are just so reliable in terms of identifying when there could be big moves in all of these cryptos. I want to start on the weekly though, as I mentioned. And first off, let's note something pretty important. Let's go to right here. This is around the beginning of the year. And let's chart this real quick. 400, well, let's see. Let's move that up a little bit. 475% gains for 2020 for Cardano. And it's just been such a top performer in terms of crypto. And I truly do on these charts think it's just getting started. There was a macro reversal for Cardano really at the swing low of March. Since then, we've tracked and we've talked about in videos how Cardano has really just been breaking previous lower highs, right? From this bear market trend. Namely, we have this swing high, the last lower high going into March. Cardano broke that, and that was in May or June. We have this swing high, and this was a lower high in June or July of 2019. Cardano broke that. That was broken around a year later in June of 2020. And the story continues. And right now, Cardano really testing this area, right in that 20 cent range. This was July of 2018 now. Cardano testing. And this isn't the first time we've tested on the weekly chart. You can see back here, Cardano tested it. This wick almost getting up there. That 20 cent area, really, really key area for Cardano in terms of resistance. Historically, just a huge area for Cardano to break. Another huge area above that is 40 cents. This is that first lower high going into the bear market in the spring of 2018 you see on the screen. So some hurdles ahead of Cardano, but these are good hurdles. These are stepping stones, right? And we've already cleared some hurdles, these lower highs, and Cardano is on its way. And this is what we want to see in the transition from bear market to bull market. If you want all-time highs again, and if you want new all-time highs for Cardano, this is the kind of how it works. You hit these targets to the upside slowly but surely. You get consolidation dips along the way, and surely we have. I mean, Cardano with this dip back in, this was the end of summer to fall, big dip for Cardano, but important, right? And important to test even this area, which was a previous lower high. So that's how it's playing out in the charts. We have these like midterm type of targets that we can view on the weekly chart. 50 cents, right? This is the rising wedge that we see here on the chart, 50 cents. And then this falling channel, the really macro area, breakout area, is right around same exact area, just above 50 cents on that, right? That is the breakout right from here that we got in spring of 2020. So we have some nice macro targets that we're working our way up to. Cardano is working its way up to, and it really does start on these daily charts. So here's this chart that we were talking about in the video that you see here that we just saw a clip from. And that's what it looks like then, right? You can zoom in a little bit, and this is what it looks like now. Talk about just look at the technicals playing out so nicely on this daily chart. One thing I want to note is this. We have kind of the confluence of two symmetrical triangles, right? A smaller one, a little bit larger one in purple. We had the break right around 70% to the apex of that smaller one, interestingly enough. And then we're having another break right around 70% or so to the apex of this larger one. These symmetrical triangles, and I do it all the time in Bitcoin, they're just so consistent. They really are. They're not exact. It's not 100% of the time, but it just amazes me, boggles my mind how they are so reliable in terms of anticipating breakouts for these cryptos. So here's where we are, right? First things first, on this daily chart, you can see Cardano actually broke this smaller symmetrical triangle, put in a swing high, which we use for the larger symmetrical triangle, came back down and tested the apex these 2 days. And this was a really bullish hint for Cardano when we had this huge recovery and bounce through the apex. And really also confluent with the 50-day moving average. Really bullish sign for Cardano as it hovered there in the 13 cent, 14 cent range, and even the 12 cent range very briefly. We got the nice bounce, and Cardano kind of just made its way back up to this trend line, and really as of yesterday or so, broke this larger symmetrical triangle. Now the breakout target for the symmetrical triangle, 25 cents or so, and Cardano very much on its way. That might not come immediately, right? So please remember that. Look at the volatility even right here. This was not long ago. This was mid-December to like a week ago or so. But let's break it down on the 6 hour to get a really clear picture of what's going on that chart. So here it is. Here's our break through that trend line, upper trend line, revisit to the apex, a bounce, really nice to see. Here's the break of this upper trend line. We have a test of 20 cents, huge resistance as we discussed. Now, here's what's in play for the very short term. Since this is such big resistance in the 20 cent area, the question is, will Cardano kind of consolidate and try again and break? If so, there could be very bullish continuation in the very short term, on its way to that 25 cent target. That's one scenario. And, we kind of have to watch all the other markets and kind of see what's going on in crypto right now, if there's continuation across the board or not. But the other thing that's really in the back of my mind is, you see how we got this breakout of this smaller symmetrical triangle, came back down, revisited the apex. Are we going to get something similar, revisiting this area for Cardano? And I remember I texted my neighbor. I was like, "Hey, you might get an opportunity down here at this apex." And this is when we were kind of above this area. You might get an opportunity down here because it happens often. Cryptos, revisit the apex of these symmetrical triangles. So that's something very much in play. And if we go to the daily chart, what you can really do is, and you can do it on the 6 hour too, is you can chart a Fibonacci retracement, the swing low that we had to this swing high. So that swing low into the 12.5 cent range to the swing high, just testing 20 cents. We have this area where Cardano could really drop to again, 15 cents down to around 14 cents. These targets to the downside keep moving up, which is good. And let's chart that on the 6 hour and kind of break that down now. So the swing low right here to swing high, and here's what it looks like on this chart. Now at this level, Cardano will be basically breaking through the apex down to the 15 cent to 14 cent area. And what we're looking for is a bounce back into it and a break above. That could be an extremely bullish move for Cardano, And I think that would probably propel Cardano through 25 cents, through this target. So that's kind of a short-term downward scenario for Cardano. Now, you can see the same exact type of move happened out of this symmetrical triangle, the smaller one, right? We came down, not only tested the apex, we kind of went into and through the apex, back through the above. So this is the very volatile downside target. Cardano could very well just test the apex in one way or another. And I would say a shorter term good Fibonacci retracement would be this this last consolidation area before this swing high. And I would say confluent with this apex is this very short term area where Cardano could consolidate to. And I just deleted that. Let me rechart it. So consolidation to swing high. And here we are. We have right around 16.5 cents to, let's call it 16 cents. There could be a consolidation to that area. So two consolidation areas. Number one, from where it is right now to that area around 10 cents, right? To that 16, let's just call it a 16-cent range. It's around, not 10 cents, I'm sorry, 10%. So 10 to 12%. And then another consolidation area potentially in play all the way down here, more of a 20% type of dip for Cardano. Now, I think a lot of that, what happens, how that plays out, has to do with what markets do right now in the short term. What is Bitcoin doing? What's awesome right now and interesting is to see Cardano just really just holding its own right now up here as things like Bitcoin has dipped, Ethereum has dipped. But you have to remember, those coins took their turn, and they took their turn. We always say, be patient with your altcoins, everybody. If it's not moving just yet, be patient. You can just see that they each take their turn. And so just hang in there, right? And this isn't financial advice, but sometimes patience is the best play, right? Don't FOMO into other coins just because they're moving, because then your coin's going to move after you just sold out of it. So this is what I'm looking at. Upside targets, 25 cents. Maybe there is continuation. Maybe there's support here at this upper trend line. We'll look for it, right? That is really, truly the immediate support, 17.5 cents for Cardano. That's immediate support. But if it breaks, there's support down here, remember. So a couple Fibonacci retracements, the entire apex of the symmetrical triangle in play as support. So wanted to throw that out there. Really cool to see Cardano making moves. I truly think this is just the beginning. Just zoom out on a chart. There's always room for consolidation. There's always room for more patience. So this is a long game, everybody. But Cardano looking awesome just on the charts and technically with what is being built. And so we will continue to track it. Appreciate you all for cruising by. Hit that subscribe, hit that like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.